Okay, hi. Alright, Ashni is here. So let me, but it's just Ashni. Yep, I'm live.
Hi.
Hi, we are to connect again.
Sure.
So
One of the
sorry
many
for the
challenges of
technical
online learning, like you said.
learning speed, right? At this,
Yes.
yeah, right, right. That is very true, right? So dependent
Yes.
on an outside force that is
Sure.
technically in our control or not in our control, and that will obviously pose the
Absolutely.
hindrance. Could
Yes.
right. So the question that I've been meaning to ask you is like,
Yes.
can how what would you like to tell our parents regarding
Mm.
how can they give better childhoods to their children?
Yes.
Especially parents, since you've been
Mm.
interacting with so many of them, I believe thousands of
Sure.
them.
Mm.
So, uh, your 2 cents on that, please.
Sure. Sure. So, like I was saying earlier, I think what we forget is to let children be. We are too focused on making them learn things, know their numbers, shapes, get them to read, get them to write, train our ambitions, and we are too focused on getting children to follow our goals and our targets. But children are not meant for that. I mean, we need to allow their personalities to blossom. We need to let them be. In the long run, what matters, right? In the long run, it doesn't, nobody's going to say, okay, what age did you start reading or when did you know your alphabets? It's inconsequential. But what matters is that how was I treated? How was I raised as a child? How was I spoken to? Was I given enough respect? Was I given enough freedom? Was I given the opportunity to develop and explore and feel comfortable in who I am? And that's what is going to form my personality, right? So if I have faced punishment and stress and I'm the smartest person academically in some sense, it still doesn't serve the purpose for me to live as a happy and a contributing individual in the world.
Of course, of course. Wow,
So
thank you, Ashni. Thank you.
welcome.
So, yeah. Do you wanna start taking questions from the audience?
Sure.
What do you say?
Yes,
Uh,
I'm good. Should I?
okay. So yeah, no, we've already received the questions. Uh,
Okay.
all right. So, okay. So this is a question that is that this is that'll take you down memory lane. Who do you remember your first
Mhm.
student, and who was he or she for that matter?
I remember my first student.
Oh, lovely. Tell,
Um,
tell us all about her.
I remember the first person who enrolled for Da Vinci Montessori. Yes, and now
Wow.
of course she's grown up, as in I think she is in the fifth, sixth grade, so she's a 12-year-old girl. And I remember that first receipt number one in our book that we made. And I still remember her because we were very new 10 years ago, right? And we were promoting this philosophy that although the word Montessori was somewhat known, it can be heavily diluted and implemented in ways that doesn't meet the true philosophy. So we were advocating doing true Montessori. Our way of approaching is different. We were not preparing children for school interviews, and we still don't, because that sadly has become the focus of all preschools, right? So we don't believe in
Fortunately.
that. Yes, we don't believe in that. We stay away from that. And so you know in that sense, we were different. And when this parent, and then of course following that others did as well, but it just helped us feel okay, um, people do have faith in what we're talking about. Because when you don't fit the mold and when you try to do something that doesn't fit the current scenario and the way things are run, you always wonder whether are people going to accept you, or are people going to appreciate where you're coming from.
Of course, of
Yes,
course,
yes.
of course. Lovely,
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
And your favorite student, if any, well, teachers. I mean, I'm friends with. I'm so this it's your heart. No, of course. No,
So
like
no
not.
favorites. I think every child has a personality. There are some that are very different that just stick in your mind, and those children, for that reason, because the way they're different, makes them stay in your memory for much longer. But I think every child has some amazing association and stories, and things that
Uh,
will stay with me forever. So it's, yeah.
Lovely. So, what do you think schools will do in the upcoming academic year?
Hmm.
That's a question we have.
Yes. So, it's a struggle. We've been struggling with it as schools, especially preschools. So, the high schools that are first grade, second grade onwards, they have figured out online working. I think it's still hard for those children who are 6, 7, 8 to work with this medium regularly every day. Yeah, but I think most schools are figuring out, maybe connecting with children twice, thrice a week, and then delivering the rest of it through emails, through programs, through videos. Yeah, I think as schools, and specifically as Montessori schools, we have struggled with this a lot as well, because we want to stay true to our philosophy. We don't want to dilute that. We don't want to go away from it. And so keeping that balance while at the same time supporting children and parents and ensuring that we are able to progress and do interesting things with children, right? Children just need interesting things to do. It doesn't matter if they read today or read 6 months later, it's immaterial. But the fact that they are ready for it and they need that food for their mind, we have to keep providing that. So that is what we have been planning and struggling. And I think most of the preschools are figuring out ways of working remotely with children, working with parents, working with children. It does involve a lot of parent involvement. Yeah. So the role that
Yeah.
the schools completely played, we are counting on parents to do some of that, if not a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
it has to be more coordinated work than before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of course, indeed,
Mhm.
indeed. Well,
Yeah.
so now that certainly will involve parents.
Mhm.
I mean, the next academic year, especially like you said, will have a lot of involvement of parents,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
need to lead, you know,
Absolutely.
and of course. So, Ashni, coming to
And it's a
Kids Okay,
challenge. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, of course, it's a challenge. Yes, please,
Yes.
challenge.
Hmm.
Right. So I was coming to Kids Okay Please, and I wanted, what do you think about Kids Okay Please, and what are your thoughts about Kids Okay Please, and how do you see Kids Okay Please? Just wanted to.
So I came across the idea recently. Yes. I really like the idea, and the reason I think there is so much value in it is because, again, somewhere I connected with our way of working, right?
Yeah.
When 150 years ago, 100 years ago, when Maria Montessori started working with children, the whole idea of child size furniture or creating things for children to meet their needs was completely alien. So the thought wasn't around. So she was the first one who introduced the idea that yes, our world needs to cater to these children, right? Our homes need to meet the needs, because otherwise, you're living in a giant world, right? We wouldn't be comfortable living in a world where everything is large and we have to make our way and depend on
Of,
somebody to help us. And
of,
children live with that every day, right? So we have, of course, helped parents to tweak their homes to support that to a certain extent. Our schools are completely designed for children. So everything is child height, child size, the right weight that they can pick up. It is a space that, and that's why Montessori's are called casas, or home in Italian is casa. Right? So it's a
wow.
home for children, because everything is made for children, for their size, for their needs, right? And when I think about Kids Okay Please, I feel yes, that's what the world needs to do, is to tweak and change our places, whether it may be a bookstore or a coffee shop or a movie theater or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. to meet the
Yes.
needs of these children. I mean, it's all adult
That,
driven. Yes. So we need to go and see that these children need access to the world and need to learn from their world around, and
exactly.
creating that access.
Exactly, and they need to be onboarded and they need to be welcomed in the world of adults, and
Absolutely.
we need to make it well.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So that is
Completely
wow,
agree.
so we're two organizations with similar philosophies and principles, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So, Ashni, it's been such a delight. It's been such a pleasure. You've shared some tremendously insightful information about early education and the education panorama that we see at large. And I'm very grateful from behalf of all of us at Kids Okay Please that you could take out the time and join us today. Heartfelt thanks, and thank you so much for being with us, and
It's
especially sharing all of this with the audience. I'm sure they'll love it. Thank you, Ash.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I wish you the best with Kids Okay
Thank,
Please as well. And I'm looking forward to hearing more and getting to know more about what you folks are doing next. Yeah.
you will keep indeed. Just I would say this to everyone, please, and Ashni, of course, and please keep
Yes.
following our pages. There's going to be a lot that's going to come up, and you'll see how we will try to realize our efforts and the direction that we were just discussing, right? So thank
Absolutely.
you again, Ashni. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
It's been
you.
such a have you. Thank
Me
you.
too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Yep, as he following us. All right, all right. Hello, everyone. So we had Ashni with us, and I hope you all enjoyed that. Yes, wasn't that a lot of insightful information about parenting, and especially in these times? So what she said was that we will have to adapt to for and that is what the the core philosophy of Kids Okay Please is as well, right? That we make our surroundings, we make the infrastructure around us, we make the real estate around us to be more child friendly and child welcoming, so that we can give them all marvelous childhoods. And wouldn't they deserve anything lesser, would they?